Hey folks, it's Jim Hansen, and we are here in Nashville, Tennessee, meeting with Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon.
I am delighted to be with you. Thank you so much.
Well, ma'am, you're here with the National Heroes Tour. That's part of Vets for Freedom, and what we're doing is traveling across the country, trying to make sure that the message from the troops on the ground gets out. Now, one thing that is well known by anybody who knows about the military is that you are a big supporter of the military, and you've done a lot of things. You stood strong when things weren't going well, and we greatly appreciate that.
Well, and I will continue to stand strong. I think it is so very important that we send the message that freedom is worth fighting for. And, you know, if we don't have freedom to live and to make choices and to have this wonderful country that we have, then, you know, everything else is going to be just kind of pushed over to the side there, Jim. And I think that having these tours, having this tour, which is the National Heroes Tour, so that people can meet people that have been on the ground, that have been there, they've been in the fight, they've made tough decisions, and they can say firsthand how things are going, what the progress is. They can talk about the counterinsurgency strategy. They can talk about the surge. They can talk about what the morale of the men and women in uniform is.
Absolutely. Well, this tour is timed to coincide with General Petraeus' testimony to Congress April 8th. We'll be driving through the country, got about 8 more stops before we get there. But right now, Vets for Freedom has over 400 Iraq and Afghanistan vets signed up to be there. We're going to all visit our local reps. I'm sure you'll get a good showing because you've been a supporter of this the other times that Troops on the Hill has happened.
Well, I will continue to be a supporter of Troops on the Hill, and we're going to welcome everybody. I hope we will roll out that welcome mat and get everybody there, and I hope that America is listening to the message that those troops are bringing, that this is a war where we are seeing progress every day. And also I hope that we send that message that it is a different kind of war, that when we're fighting these terrorists, they're not located in one geographic location. They're not wearing the uniform of a country and pledging allegiance to a country. They are pledging allegiance to an ideology. And so it is a very different type war, and it means that we have to fight it and we have to make certain that we win it.
Fantastic. And you hit on the one point. The theme for this tour is let them win. The troops on the ground have spoken, and they have overwhelmingly said that they think they're winning and that the only way we can lose is the same way Vietnam was lost, if Congress decides to pull the plug. Well, it's folks like Marsha Blackburn, representative from Tennessee, who are making sure that doesn't happen. And, ma'am, we greatly appreciate it.
It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much.
And one last thing, ma'am. I know you got ambushed by David Schuster. Now, that was one of those shameless journalistic gotchas, and I'd just like to say anybody who's been paying attention knows that that was just a trick and that he is just a huckster, and we know you're a troop supporter.
Well, absolutely, and one of the things that we consistently do is work with our families, and as all of our military families know, there is a notification process that you go through. You do not use the names or the dates or the places of those that have been killed and have given their lives in serving this country. And to do so is inappropriate, and we are going to honor those and honor their sacrifice. We are not going to dishonor it. We're not going to use it for political gain.
Ma'am, those of us in the know appreciate that, and when I see him, I'll let him know.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for talking
Good
with us.
to be with you.
All right.
If anybody has been out there and been a part of this fight, it's Kate Norley. She served with great distinction in Iraq, putting people back together. The medical advances that we've made in this conflict are incredible. And it's important to remember that while we may have lost 4,000 because of the advances we've made, more guys are coming back wounded with injuries because we've saved them on the battlefield. And we're always remembering that they're here and they need to be taken care of. But it was Kate Norley that brought a lot of those guys and gals home alive. What were you, Kate, when you retired? Please join me in welcoming Specialist Kate Norley.
I'd first just like to thank Vets for Freedom, and especially just to say how humbled and honored I am to even share a stage with the men to my right and to my left. It's quite a story to follow and an action that my fellow comrades have served. But I would just like to share with you that I too am a soldier, and that I have seen the face of war myself. I served, as Pete mentioned, with the 1st Cavalry Division. Traveled quite a bit. I originally went over with a forward support medical battalion, and due to the change of pace throughout the country, we needed to be more mobile and be able to support our ambulatory units. So we splintered off into company-size medical battalions. And so not only were there very few medics, there were also very few women over there, but I was very proud to have the American flag not only on my sleeve but on my heart my entire tour. In particular, I'd like to share with you before we left, and we had already said goodbye to our families, and we'd all packed up. We'd gone through our last form of security before we flew to Germany, where we would then fly to Kuwait. And our brigade commander got on the mic, and that we had well over 1,000 in this packed gymnasium, and we were very just anxious and restless, and just we're ready to go. Let's just get on the flight, get over there, and do what we need to do. And he said, I want everybody to be quiet, and I want you to all just listen to exactly what I say, which was tough to get all of our attention again, because we wanted to kind of listen to our headphones and get fired up to go, but not so much get somber. But he said, no, I'm dead serious. I want you guys to stop what you're doing right now, and I want you to look to your left and your right. Well, nobody did it, and he said it again, and this time in adding a few expletives in explaining to do that. But he said, I want you to do it right now. Look to your left and look to your right. We did it. He said, I want you to remember who is sitting next to you right now in this auditorium, because we don't know the date, but when we come back, and we will come back, not everyone is going to be here. And I want you to remember who is with you right now, because you better start honoring each other before we even head over there. And that moment stuck out to me a lot, particularly since I returned, because not only did I know that at that moment I wanted to do my best to make sure that not only all of my guys, but as many men and women that fought with us throughout the world were over there, that I could do my best to not only protect them, but make sure that we brought them home. And it just reminds me of the reception that I've had, even from you all today and through various times that veterans have been honored, because, we're doing it for you, and we're honored to do it, and we're so blessed to have the freedoms that we do. And I just want to thank you so much for all of your hospitality, and just let you know how gracious we are. As far as the advances that have been made, another very interesting story. I was invited to attend the International Women's Day that was held at the White House not too long ago. And there were about eight or so women that were recognized worldwide for their absolute just, valor and courageous actions that they had taken in their own native countries. And one of them was an Iraqi woman, and my seat wasn't exactly up front, so I didn't hear everything they said about her, but I went to introduce myself to her following the conference, and the two of us kind of did a double take. Almost a bizarre way, how would we have seen each other before? And she spoke to me in English and said, you were the female that came and spoke to us at the University of Baghdad. There was one class that women were allowed to attend, and there were about 10 of the women that were willing to meet an American woman and hear about our freedoms and our nation, and just overall see our strength. And I spoke with them and just tried to explain to them that there is hope, and that there are different ways of living, and especially how women can be received and contribute in society. And I think all of this was just a little even.
Congresswoman Blackburn, and not only because I happen to have an affinity for the 101st Airborne, and she happens to represent that district, not only because of that, but she has truly been a friend, an ally, and a champion, and a warrior on Capitol Hill, and a cause that has unfortunately had to be fought on Capitol Hill. In order to let our troops win in Iraq, we had to win on Capitol Hill. She has helped lead that charge, has continued to lead that charge. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn.
Well, thank you all for taking the time to be out here today. This is absolutely fantastic, and I am thrilled that we have Vets for Freedom coming through Tennessee. And you're always welcomed here. And we are so pleased that the tour is making a stop here. Pete has done a fantastic job putting leadership behind this issue, making certain that the story gets out. And Vets for Freedom and Pete, you are to be commended for the leadership that you are bringing to bear on this issue. When I was in Iraq and Afghanistan in January, this past January, one of the things that we heard regularly from the men and women in uniform as I was holding town hall meetings over there was, you know, this is tough. This is hard work. But guess what? We are seeing victories every single day. We are winning and having successes every single day, but they are not being reported in the media. And our men and women in uniform know that you don't get on a trajectory to success and it goes uninterrupted. They know that you take a couple of steps forward and a step or two back, and that you have to fight and win every single day. And they are doing that. And each and every one of you are to be commended for the work that you are doing. One of the things that Kate said about International Women's Day, I just want to highlight because I had the opportunity to participate in that, and she spoke about the Iraqi woman that was there. And one of the things that they say to us is, don't leave us. Whatever you do, don't leave us. They know that the American people don't like long wars. They know that people want to see the troops come home. And we have, and one of the things that we have come to realize, and Pete participated with me on Capitol Hill with some of my colleagues. I brought some experts together to talk with us before we went into our Easter work period. And Pete came over, Kevin Sullivan from the White House, Dr. Fred Kagan came over, and Cliff May came over. And one of the things that Cliff May said, one of the points he made, is that we have no better ally in the fight for freedom than the Iraqi people. They are fighting hard, and we're seeing this in the Iraqi women, and I appreciate that Kate brought that point forward today. So we thank you for being here to receive Vets for Freedom. We thank you for standing for the service that you have given our country and for standing with the men and women who are in the fight right now. They are going to win this the right way, and they are going to turn the course of history and head it toward freedom because of the sacrifice that they are giving each and every day. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership, and to each of you, thank you for your participation in this program and for your service to our country and to the cause of freedom.